Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Right, before I go any further, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody for bearing with me the last couple of weeks. As I'm sure you're aware, because I did put a post on, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Things always go a little bit weird for me about this time of the year. I've got three important dates within sort of 3 weeks of each other. Mum and Dad's anniversary, Mother's Day, and my mum's birthday. I always seem to become a little bit sort of withdrawn, suffer from terminal can't be arseness. It just happens every year, so you might as well be ready for it, because it'll probably happen again next year. I thought I'd be kind of over it by now, but I just miss her so much. I really do. I miss the routine. I'm only just now starting to get used to the fact that she's not around and not having to do sort of shopping for her and all this sort of thing. I just miss her so much, and it's sort of all brought into start focus about this time of the year. So as I say, you'll have to sort of bear with me, probably next year and the year after, and the year after that, because it will happen again. I'm sure it will. So thanks ever so much for bearing with me. I do appreciate it. I was going to take a second week off, but as Guy always says, the show must go on. So I do have a suggestion to make, however. How would you guys feel about me taking this fortnightly as opposed to weekly? I'll explain roughly why. The way I do it at the moment, as you know, is I record it on a Sunday morning. I upload it to YouTube during the week, scheduled to drop on the following Saturday. And then obviously I have to sort of get the comments on a Saturday afternoon and copy and paste them and get stuff ready for the following Sunday. So basically, as soon as I've finished one recording, I'm headlong straight into another one. What I've found these last couple of weeks is that I've been able to sort of plan everything on the second week. It basically gives me 2 weeks to put something together at a leisurely pace without it feeling like I've thrown it together at the last minute, which a lot of the time I have. I always say to myself, I'm actually going to, dedicate sort of 20 minutes a day after work to put things together, to do little scripts and stuff like this, sort of read articles that I can quote from, all that kind of thing. It never happens, because by the time I get home from work, I'm half asleep before I even get through the door. So how would you feel about me doing it fortnightly? That way I can record, like now, this is actually Friday, or yesterday as you're watching it. I can actually record it for this weekend, and then for the next 2 weeks I can get the next instalment sort of ready and record it 2 weeks hence. So how would you guys feel about that? If you're not happy about it, I'll keep doing it weekly. But it certainly made things easier over the last couple of weeks. Definitely, I've not felt so rushed. I've not felt as if I've literally got to put everything together at the last minute within the space of sort of a couple of hours on a Saturday afternoon. It's been so much easier. But let me know what you think. I'd appreciate your thoughts on it, as always. So, right, subscriptions have crept up to 182. I don't know how or who they are. I do know one, and I've forgotten to mark his. I'd normally put the name up and say hello to him. I'll try to remember to do it next week, but I have got another subscriber, another one. So we're up to 182 at the moment, which I'm really pleased about. So we shall see how it goes towards the end of the year. So, right, I'll start with comments on the last video. Let's see how we go. David, start with David. Awesome video, as always. Who are some of your least favourite actors of all time, and what are some of your favourite Charles Bronson films? Least favourite actors? I don't think I've got anyone that I look at on screen and think, oh, I can't stand the sight of you. Leave that with me. I'll come back on that one, David. I'll put that on for the next video. I need some time to think about that, but I can't think of anybody that I sort of intensely dislike. Let's put it that way. Charles Bronson films. Love The Great Escape. Love Death Wish. The Magnificent Seven. All good. The ones I want to watch that I've never actually seen are the sort of 80s thrillers that he did. 10 to Midnight, Murphy's Law, Hard Times, which I believe is a 70s movie about bare knuckle fighting, The Mechanic, which was the original version of the Jason Statham movie, as it was remade in the 2010s, I think. but I'd love to see the original of that. But if I had to name Charles Bronson movies that I do enjoy, I would definitely say Great Escape, Magnificent Seven, and Death Wish. Absolutely. So thanks for that, David. As I say, leave that other question about least favourite actors with me, and I'll come back to that one in the next video. Chris, loving the Western thread and loving those little shout outs I keep getting. Definitely. High Noon and Tombstone, two classic titles, mate. I've not seen High Noon, but I did recently grab a Blu-ray copy of it, so I will be taking a look at it at some point. Tombstone is just superb. It took me years to get round to watching it, but I'm certainly glad I did. Absolutely brilliant movie. Kurt Russell has never been better, I don't think, than in that. And Val Kilmer, what a performance. So yeah, loving the Western threads, mate. Keep them coming. Dave Taylor, I've got some comments on Messenger that I've forgotten to cut and paste, and I've literally just realised looking at this now. So I'll read out what I've got so far, and I'll tag all the rest onto the next video, if that's all right, mate. You asked about movies to put on a double bill. Mine would be Summer Rental and Crocodile Dundee. Crocodile Dundee, absolutely brilliant. Summer Rental, I seem to remember that as a VHS title when I worked at the video shop, but I couldn't tell you what it's about. Not a clue, but I will definitely look that one up. And you said, I've just thought of a couple more, Green for Danger and Waterloo Road. I saw Waterloo Road a long time ago, many years ago. Green for Danger, I've never seen. I've managed to get hold of a copy, mostly because I listen to the Real Britannia podcast pretty much every day, and they did a podcast on Green for Danger, and it sounded fascinating. Alistair Sim, investigating suspicious deaths at a military hospital, if I remember correctly. So yes, I'm looking forward to taking a look at that one very, very shortly. Another one you mentioned, Saturday Night, Sunday Morning, and I Kind of Loving. Saturday Night, Sunday Morning is absolutely brilliant. Is it Albert Finney? Or is it Tom Courtenay? I can't remember. I think it's Albert Finney. Just absolutely brilliant, as raw as hell. A Kind of Loving I've never seen, and I do want to watch it because I love Alan Bates's movies, and I'm fairly sure he's in that one. On favourite actors and actresses, most of the powerful performances these days seem to come from the ladies. Here are a few examples. Helen Mirren in Last Orders, Calendar Girls, The Debt, Woman in Gold, The Leisure Seeker, The Good Liar, and Golda. I recently got hold of Last Orders on DVD, so I'm going to be taking a look at that. Calendar Girls is brilliant. The Debt, not heard of that one. Woman in Gold we watched a while ago and really, really enjoyed it. Not seen The Leisure Seeker. The Good Liar was absolutely brilliant with Ian McKellen, just superb. So many twists and turns, did not see that ending coming. And Golda, not familiar with that one. Kate Winslet, The Life of David Gale, brilliant. Iris, not seen. Little Children, not seen. The Reader, a long, long time ago. Is this set in Nazi Germany? I seem to remember it is. Not really seen anything after these. Only Mayor of Easttown. Good series, so I've heard. It's not on. I think it's on Sky Atlantic, and Sky Atlantic is probably the only channel that we can't get on Virgin Media. Want to see Lee, in which she plays the war correspondent. Yeah, same here. It's on Sky. Saw the trailer to it. And it looks absolutely amazing, and they reckon her performance in it is superb. Kate Blanchett, Talented Mr. Ripley, brilliant. The Aviator. That's the one about Howard Hughes. I've not seen that. That's Leonardo DiCaprio, isn't it? Notes on a Scandal, really, really good. And The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Strange movie, very, very strange. Whoever came up with that idea, God knows what they were on at the time, but cracking idea for a movie. Julia Roberts, Mystic Pizza. I've never seen Mystic Pizza. Pretty Woman, who hasn't seen Pretty Woman? Stepmom and Erin Brockovich. Not seen Stepmom, but Erin Brockovich, absolutely brilliant, superb. As I made this list, I realised a lot of these I need to catch up on. Welcome to my world again. Thanks for that, David, much appreciated. By the way, if you can hear a buzzing noise, I've got two flies in here, and I can't bloody well get rid of them. I've opened the door, hoping that they'll fly out. I'm hoping they have now, actually. I can't hear them. But there's been an irritating buzzing all morning, so that's what it is, in case you're wondering. So thanks for that, Dave. Stuart, Morning Stew, Psychomania, one of my favourite early 70s horror movies, absolutely brilliant. I thought I was going to love it, but my God, I found it terrible, dear. Do you know what? It's a real Marmite movie. You either love it or you hate it. I just thoroughly enjoyed it for what it was. I know it's ridiculous, it's ludicrous, but Nicky Henson, is it Beryl Reid is in it, and George Sanders of all people, just lifted it to another level for me. I really, really enjoyed it. I do need to watch it again. You can't tell me you didn't smile at that funeral scene. It was absolutely brilliant. I just remember thinking if they actually buried him on that bike, his head would be sticking out above ground like a cabbage. And that's what made me laugh about it. I just thought it was great. Got to get ready for the Movie Loon. Got to get ready for the Movie Loons WhatsApp group meetup. Ollie, Tim, Roy, and of course Sammy getting the train and staying overnight in a Premier Inn. Oh, classy venue. Should be a great day. See you next Saturday morning, Tony, mate. You certainly will. Well, you'll see me within the next couple of weeks, depending on how the vote goes on whether I take this fortnightly or not. We'll see how it goes. I know you had a brilliant time because I've seen the photographs on Facebook, so I know you had a brilliant time. So thanks for that, Stuart. Much appreciated. Ollie, morning, Ol. Loved your book collection video, by the way. I love collecting books, and I do. I've got so many upstairs. And you did say that you would love me to do a book of the week. It might be book of the fortnight, the way we're going at the moment. But you did tell me that, and I've actually got one here. Those Enid Blyton books look vintage, by the way. They look really old. The only Enid Blyton book I think I've ever owned is The Boy Next Door, and I got that when I was at school, junior school, if I remember right. All I can remember is it's something to do with a kid who's dressed as a Red Indian, and there's a houseboat involved in it. I can't remember anything else about it because it was so many years ago. But I loved that book, and I did have a copy of it, and I feel sure I've got one upstairs, but I've scoured the bookshelf and I can't find it. Now it's probably me not looking properly, but leave it with me. If I find it, I shall show it off. So my book of the week for this week was inspired by this box set, which Rob bought me. I think it was Christmas or birthday, I can't remember. This is basically the films of Pete Walker. It's called The Flesh and Blood Show, which is actually the title of one of his movies, and it's a lovely set. You've got movies with titles like Frightmare, House of Mortal Sin, House of Whipcord, The Flesh and Blood Show, Die Screaming Marianne, The Comeback, and Schizo. Pete Walker was basically, I think, the UK's answer to sort of Toby Hooper in his early raw days of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What's that one with the alligator called? Eaten Alive. Basically, his movies are extremely violent, really raw. It just classic British exploitation horror. And we both loved all of these. Absolutely loved all of them. I think there was only one dud, which I think was Die Screaming Marianne. But that was saved by Susan George, who was just superb in it. But I find myself wanting to know a little bit more about Pete Walker. So I grabbed this a few weeks ago, and I've not had a chance to have a look at it yet properly. It's called Making Mischief, the cult films of Pete Walker, and this goes right from the very beginning of his career. As the back, if you want to freeze frame it, right up to basically his last film, which I think was Schizo, but I'm not sure. So it's a lovely book. It's very, very well illustrated. Just a quick flick through. You know how rubbish I am at this. But you see, you've got loads of photographs in there. VHS sleeves, cinema posters, all that kind of thing. He was the king of British exploitation movies, without a shadow of a doubt. But I loved all these films, and I really wanted to know a lot more about him. So I thought I'd grab that, and I will be taking a look at this. So that is my first entry in Book of the Week. Inspired by Ollie. Right, what we got here? Ollie, morning Tony. Hope you have had a fantastic week. We'll have to watch the video tomorrow in full, as I'm currently en route to the Movie Loons meetup, but still wanted to leave a message and ask a few questions for the next video. Oh, cheers, mate. Much appreciated. I watched The Count of Monte Cristo from 1975 as per Stuart's recommendation yesterday and thoroughly enjoyed it. Just a really interesting story, and Richard Chamberlain is excellent. He loves Richard Chamberlain. He absolutely adores him. I've only seen him in sort of a couple of episodes of Dr. Kildare, which my mum used to watch many, many years ago, and also The Swarm. And I believe, wasn't it him in The Thornbirds? That's another one my mum used to like, which I probably saw 10 minutes of and thought, oh Christ, this isn't for me. And I abandoned it, but she loved it, absolutely loved it. I've not seen The Count of Monte Cristo, that version yet, but I have got a hold of it, and I will be taking a look as soon as I get a minute. You asked me, do you have a favourite swashbuckler type film like this or the Musketeer films? I do like those two Richard Lester Musketeer films, the Three Musketeers and the Four Musketeers. Was it Raquel Welch? Oliver Reed. Got to take a look at them. Rob bought them both for me for, I think it was my birthday last year on Blu-ray. And I do need to take a look at them, absolutely. So I do love those two. One called The Crimson Pirate with Burt Lancaster, which was on regularly in the 70s on ITV. I can still see the trailer now of him jumping off the mast and swinging down on the sail. I can still see that now. So that was always a favourite of mine. I saw that a couple of times, but a lot of years ago. The Adventures of Robin Hood. Yes, I did love Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and also Robin Hood, Men in Tights. But to me, the movie Robin Hood is always going to be Errol Flynn, with Basil Rathbone as the Sheriff of Nottingham, the 1939 original movie in colour. Just brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. I mean, Errol Flynn, nobody did swashbuckling like Errol Flynn. And another one that I enjoyed, not sure whether it's a swashbuckling film, but it is a historical theme, The Vikings, Tony Curtis and Kirk Douglas. Amazing movie. Another one that my mother used to love watching. She introduced me to that one. And I've not seen it for a lot of years. I would love to watch it again because it's been ages since I watched it. But that I would class as a favourite swashbuckler. So hope that answers the question, mate. I have also watched The Brood as per your request earlier in the week, but didn't think much to it. Oh dear. Guess I'm just not a fan of most of Cronenberg's work, although I love The Fly and really enjoyed A History of Violence. I like Cronenberg's early stuff because basically I can watch it without flinching too much. As soon as we turned the corner with The Fly, and I'm going to mention it again, the arm break, I thought, oh Christ, is this the route we're going down? And I've not really seen many of his later body horror movies. I tend to shy away from them. I did enjoy Rabid, Shivers, The Brood I thought was excellent. There's so many. But as soon as we went after The Fly, I've not really seen any of his more recent ones. Videodrome, I did enjoy that one with James Woods and Debbie Harry. Really, really enjoyed that one. But A History of Violence, just the title, I thought, well, I know I'm not going to enjoy that one, so I never bothered with it. Oh, sorry you didn't like it, mate. I'll try to recommend something a little more suited to you. You probably do like, or would like, the latest ones. There was one that I saw on, is it Prime or Netflix? Or was it Film 4? I can't remember. It's one of his latest ones, probably the last one he did. And I've heard it's very good, but it's not one that I'm particularly bothered about watching. If I find the title, I shall let you know. Are there any directors that you just don't get on with, no matter how many different films of theirs you try to watch? It's pretty much the same as what David was saying earlier on about least favourite actors. I'll watch pretty much anything directed by anybody. The most problems I've had with a director, I would have to say, would probably be Ben Wheatley. Now, I know you enjoy his movies, but after watching Kill List, which I thought was just horrible, it kind of put me off. I did watch A Field in England, which is quite easily one of the most violent, trippy films I think I've ever watched. But if I had to pick one that I did enjoy, it would probably be that one, because it made absolutely no sense at all. It was literally just like a 16th century trip on acid or whatever, LSD. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Kill List, I would probably give it a second viewing, but the hammer scene I would definitely have to either skip past or mute the sound, because it just, that killed the movie for me. Even though the ending, my God, that twist at the end was just unbelievable. That was probably the only thing that saved it for me. I do want to watch In the Earth, but there is a scene in there where somebody gets his toes cut off, which ordinarily wouldn't bother me, but this is Ben Wheatley, so it's going to be as graphic as fuck in it. So that's one that I'm not going to bother with. He did direct Meg 2 The Trench. Big fan of the original, did not really like Meg 2 that much. I thought it was too Jurassic Park. It didn't have the feel of the original, and I believe there's a third instalment coming up. Whether Ben Wheatley's got anything to do with it, I don't know, but I wasn't keen on that one. But if you're asking me which director I've had the most problems with, I'd probably say Ben Wheatley, which is well documented. All the group know that I'm not mega keen on him, but I will give him another go. If you can recommend me one that I'm not going to be standing there going, oh God, for fuck's sake, if you could recommend me one when I'm not doing that, I'll have a go. There will hopefully be a mega haul incoming on Monday, so stay tuned for that. I must take a look at that. I'll be catching up with all your videos, by the way. The last couple of weeks, as you know, it's not been good for me, and I've not been in the mood for doing anything or watching anything, so I will be catching up on all your videos at some point. Until next week, hope you have a fantastic weekend and forthcoming week, and we'll talk to you to the same time next week or the week after. Case in point. Thanks ever so much, I'll much appreciated, mate. Look forward to hearing from you again. Simon Robson. Hi Tony, how's you? I'm fine now, thank you. What are some of your favourite creature features? Always easier to show them, I find. Just bear with me. I've got a little selection of 5 here. There are many more, but these are just 5 that I managed to find out this morning that didn't take too much getting to. So I thought I'll start off with these. I could probably do a regular feature on creature feature of the week or fortnight, actually thinking about it, because I have got quite a few. First one, the original King Kong from 1933, easily the best. Yes, Peter Jackson's movie was incredible. I've yet to see the 1976 movie with Jessica Lange, and is it Beau Bridges or Jeff Bridges? Directed by Dino De Laurentiis, I believe. I do want to watch that one at some point, but I've not had a chance to watch it yet. But for me, the original from 1933 is just amazing. I would love to have been around way back then to see the effect this had, because we'd never seen a movie quite like this at the time. So yeah, that's my first one. Let's see. Next one. Sequels don't normally work that well. I thought this was an excellent sequel to a classic movie. I do remember hearing that this was coming out and thinking, oh my God, no, they're not seriously going to do a sequel to that. It'll never work. But Roy Scheider made it work. Jaws 2. This is actually one of the few occasions where the sequel is actually, I think, as good as the original. It's not achieved the classic status of the first one, which it wouldn't do. Nothing could. But this, I thought, was a very acceptable sequel to the original Jaws. And I can't wait to see that 50th anniversary edition, by the way, which is coming out, I think, in July. But yeah, I thought that was absolutely superb. Next one. I tend to watch this every Christmas. You never guess, because this one isn't in the cellophane yet, but I only bought it probably about a year ago. And I didn't bother watching it this Christmas, but I will do next Christmas. Gremlins. Can't even see it because it's the light's shining on the... what's it? This is both movies. I remember Gremlins mostly because I put this on for my dad. Now, my dad was not a massive fan of fantasy movies. He loved war movies, that kind of thing. He didn't go in for fantasy movies or horror movies or anything like that. But I put this on one night... thinking that he'd like it, and he did. He loved it. He absolutely loved it, and that's my enduring memory of the original Gremlins. The second one I don't think was quite as good. I believe we've got a third instalment coming out at some point, but that's another one that I enjoy. This next one spawned a couple of remakes or reboots, which were not bad, but they will never ever be as good as this one. The original Piranha from 1977 or 8, is it? Can't remember. Doesn't say on here. 1978. Bradford Dillman, Heather Menzies, who was Jessica in the TV series of Logan's Run. Directed by Roger Corman, this one? It's part of the Roger Corman collection, that's for sure. But it's just a cult classic. Absolutely brilliant. I was too young to get, or just too young to get in the cinema to watch this. It came to Burton Odeon with it on a double bill with Carrie, Stephen King's Carrie. And they were both X certificate. I was just slightly too young. I was 16, and obviously X certificate was 18. So the first time I saw this was when it got its network TV premiere around about early 80s, something like that. Loved it, absolutely adored it. I keep meaning to grab a Blu-ray of this, but I'm thinking there's probably going to be a 4K of this at some point, so I'm probably going to hold out for that. But I've seen that one quite a few times and absolutely love that. And everybody in the group will know what my favourite creature feature is ever. I talk about this an awful lot. And if you've not seen it, Simon, I would highly recommend you grab a copy if you can and take a look and let me know what you think. Kingdom of the Spiders. William Shatner basically battling an army of tarantulas. Arachnophobia was good, but to me it wasn't as good as this was. I couldn't get enough of this, especially the first time I saw it. It literally makes my flesh crawl every time I watch it, even now. And as I said before, and I've talked about it, what you have to remember is back in 1977 we obviously didn't have CGI, so all of the tarantulas used in this are real. So when you see somebody covered head to toe in these crawling, creeping, horrible things, they are literally covered from head to toe in tarantulas, and it still makes my flesh creep now. But I absolutely love it. William Shatner has never been better. If you've not seen this one, Simon, please grab a copy and let us know what you think, because that is easily my all-time favourite creature feature, bar none. So, right, coming up to 27 minutes. Who have I got next? See if I can fit somebody else in. Oh, blimey, it's Sam, and it's a good one. I'll tell you what, I'll see how far I get. I'm on 27 minutes. I can do 5 of my favourite boutique label releases. 4, 3, 2, 1, here we go. Sam, you were asking the other week, have I got any favourite releases on boutique labels? I've sorted 5 out from different ones, so I can at least show these off quickly, and then I can get on to your comment. First one is from Eureka, and it's Nosferatu, the original 1922 Fritz Lang version. I saw this for the first time a few months ago and absolutely bowled over by it. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the Robert Eggers remake from last year. I thought it was really, really good, but nothing comes close to this, and that's from Eureka. I think this is the same version you've got, and it's obviously got a wealth of extras on the back. No, it isn't out of the cellophane yet. I actually watched it for the first time on BFI Player, but as soon as I'd watched it, I thought I need that in the collection, so I got that one. The next one of the very first movies ever made, A Trip to the Moon. This was from, let's see, Georges Méliès? Very early silent movie. I believe this thing is only about 9 minutes long, but I really, really wanted this in my collection. Thanks to a movie called Hugo, directed by Martin Scorsese, which was based basically around the director of this, which I absolutely loved. Obviously, the special effects are a little bit I'm not going to say crap, because they're not. They're nothing like what you'd expect nowadays, obviously, but this thing is over 100 years old. And I just wanted it because it's a real milestone in movie history. The next one, and that one's from Arrow Academy. Next one is from 101 Films. I saw this at the cinema when it first came out, about 1982. And remember coming out thinking, bloody hell, that was violent, really good. Class of 1984. A very early role for Michael J. Fox. Perry King is in this, plays the teacher. Roddy McDowall is in this. Basically, Perry King gets a job as a teacher in one of the toughest schools you will ever see. I just thought this was amazing. I would love to watch this again. I think I'm going to show this one to Rob, actually, see what he thinks. He's not a massive fan of overly violent things, but I think he'll just about get through this one. But I thought that was really, really good. Next one of my favourite horror movies of all time. It's not classed as horror nowadays, I don't think. Island of Terror. It's actually a PG certificate, but this was an X certificate. Back in the day, this would have been about 1966. Just a really, really good movie. The monsters look absolutely ridiculous when you look at them now, but back then this was scary stuff, and it was. I remember seeing it the first time and it was like, bloody hell. Look at it now, totally different story. And that's from 88 Films. And one from Indicator, one of my favourite thrillers ever, The Eyes of Laura Mars, starring Faye Dunaway and Tommy Lee Jones. Basically, Faye Dunaway plays a photographer for a sort of a chic fashion magazine, and she begins seeing murders through the eyes of the killer committing the crimes. Really, really good. If you've never seen it, grab a copy of this, because I guarantee you won't be disappointed by it. So that answers that for you, Sam. Right, I'm going to take a quick break before this clicks off, and I'll be back in a sec with Sam's comments. And we're back. Right, on to Sam's comments. Morning, Sam. Good morning, Tony. Great video as ever, bud. Much appreciated, mate. What's your most anticipated new releases on physical media? Arrow have got off to a cracking start for the year, and now we have announcements of Cobra and Zombie Flesh Eaters on 4K. I didn't know that. Cobra I've never seen. Zombie Flesh Eaters I do love, apart from the splinter through the eye scene, which I'm sure you can appreciate. My most anticipated physical media releases would have to be Jaws, the 50th anniversary. Can't wait to see what it looks like on 4K, and that steelbook looks amazing. Sinners, I'm hearing an awful lot about a movie called Sinners, which is supposed to be a very kind of bluesy type vampire movie, which is getting amazing reviews. I know a couple of guys at work have seen it, and one of them actually called it a masterpiece. So that's one that I'm definitely looking forward to taking a look at. I want to get hold of that Quatermass Experiment limited edition box set, because that looks amazing. It looks like they've pulled out all the stops with that one, so looking forward to that. The Sean Connery 6-film collection. I believe the steelbook is about 119 quid. But I think the actual 4K box set is probably about £80. The jury's still out on this one. I would love it, don't get me wrong. I tend to update my Bond movies as soon as they come out on a different sort of format or whatever. The last one I got was obviously that box set that I've shown off quite a few times, which only goes up as far as, I believe, Skyfall. So it would be nice to have a full set, because I'm gathering, or I'm hoping, that what they're going to do is, once they basically get the Sean Connery series out there, they're going to be doing the Roger Moores, the Timothy Dalton, all that sort of thing. So we will eventually have a full set on 4K and in steelbook, which will look absolutely magnificent. And they will also, I think, include the Blu-ray. So I'm becoming more and more tempted by the week to place a pre-order for it, and I saw it on HMV's site just before I came on to do this, and thought it does actually look quite nice. So I can see myself doing it, but as Chris said, as long as they're uncut, because if they're cut, I have no interest in them at all. The Dollars trilogy, obviously I'm looking forward to that one, but I'm going to hang in there to see whether the transfer is actually worth sort of upgrading from Blu-ray. So you can probably tell me that. Slade in Flame is out a week on Monday. I can't wait to get that one. That's a movie I'm definitely going to introduce Rob to. He's a little bit sort of not nervous, but he's not a massive fan of sort of the glam rock era and stuff like that. Oh, the screen's just gone off, just bear with me. But Slade in Flame, I mean, Kermode calls it the Citizen Kane of British pop movies. I would love him to watch it. It really is really, really good, and it's going to be a lovely transfer if it's from the BFI. So Another one that I'm looking forward to, and I only noticed this on Amazon's site a few nights ago, From Beyond the Grave. It's one of those portmanteau movies from the early 70s, along the lines of Vault of Horror, Tales from the Crypt. It's one that's never had a Blu-ray release, and I would love a copy on Blu-ray, so that is almost certainly a definite purchase for me when it comes out. Haxan is coming out, which is a silent black and white movie to do with black magic and stuff like that. Quite controversial in its day. A Hard Day's Night is getting a Blu-ray release and possibly a 4K. So, Guy, that's one for you. That's Richard Lester's movie starring the Beatles. So that's almost certainly going to be a purchase because I saw that for the first time probably 2 or 3 years back. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I would love to see it again, and I get the feeling 4K it's going to look awesome. And also one called Mr. Burton starring Toby Jones, about the early life of the actor Richard Burton and how he became Richard Burton under Toby Jones's tutelage, however it's pronounced. That's one I'm looking forward to watching. I think that's out in June. So yeah, there's quite a few that I'm looking forward to, Sam. Absolutely. I went to go see a new thriller called Drop and thought it was pretty good, mate. Best to go into it completely blind. A little bit late for that one because I heard a review from, I can't remember who it was now, but it sounds fascinating. It sounds absolutely brilliant. So yes, I will be taking that one in. There's also a new horror film coming out called Clown in a Cornfield, which looks intriguing from the trailer. It does look intriguing. Yes, I have watched the trailer and thought, yeah, that's one I could get behind, definitely. It's very much me, very much. Tony, I'm looking to get more into Steven Soderbergh's work. What are your thoughts on him as a director, and do you have any favourite films of his? I've not seen that many of his films, to be quite honest. The only ones I've seen are Sex, Lies and Videotape, which I enjoyed, The Limey, starring Peter Fonda and Terence Stamp, which was absolutely brilliant, and Erin Brockovich. I've not seen any other of his films as far as I can recall. So I've not really got any thoughts on him as a director, but I did enjoy those three. Any favourite David Bowie movies? I've never seen The Man Who Fell to Earth or Merry Christmas to Lawrence. Shock. Man Who Fell to Earth is brilliant, and both of those movies are absolutely brilliant. So I would class those as favourites. Also The Hunger, which is a very, very stylised vampire movie from 1983. I think it stars Susan Sarandon. Excellent film. Great soundtrack as well. Labyrinth, I really enjoyed Labyrinth. The Last Temptation of Christ, he actually played Pontius Pilate in that, and I thought he was brilliant. Christiana F, he wasn't acting in that one, I believe. The teens in the movie went to a Bowie concert. It was set early 80s, 1981 I believe it was made. It was all to do with drug addiction and stuff like that. It was a very, very grim German movie, which I watched, and it's one of those that just left you with a sinking feeling inside when you'd finish watching it, thinking, you know, is youth really that bad nowadays? And God knows what it's like now. This is like 43, 44 years on. But he was really good in that. Just a Gigolo, which I believe he made with Betty Davis. Was it Betty Davis? Marlene Dietrich, which I saw a while ago and quite enjoyed. The Virgin Soldiers, he's actually got an uncredited role in that. Jason, you're a fan of the Virgin Soldiers. Did you know that? Because I didn't. I spotted that on his filmography, so I'll be keeping a lookout for him next time I watch the Virgin Soldiers. And obviously the Snowman, that lovely intro that he does, which I thought was brilliant. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Bowie on film, definitely, and as a singer. Have a great weekend, Tony, mate, and bring on next Saturday, buddy. Well, bring on 2 weeks, depending on what everybody says. Thanks for that, Sam. Much appreciated. Mark, this is, I think it's last week's comment. Morning, Captain. Morning, Mark. Late comment from me as life got in the way, as we all know it does from time to time. Tell me about it. Right, Jimmy Bond. Jimmy Bond? Most know that I've not seen any prior to GoldenEye, except whichever one it was that I watched from my never seen thread, which was shit. I think it was Live and Let Die, if I remember right. I'm not a massive fan of Bond at all, and I don't understand what would honestly need to be cut out of a Bond movie. I could go into this in detail, but it's basically just attitudes of the time. that's all I can say. His attitude towards women was pretty bad, if I remember correctly. It really was pretty bad. And he was a little bit rapey in certain films. But they are products of their time, and I keep saying this. We're not saying that that kind of behaviour is acceptable now, but unfortunately it was acceptable back then, and that's just the way it is. So whether they would feel the need to cut certain scenes and certain bits of dialogue, I certainly hope they don't, because if they do, I will not be investing in the new 4K set, that is for sure. I'll stick with my Blu-rays. But that is basically what it was, or what they're sort of objecting to, is the attitudes, mostly to women of the time. And there was a lot of violence cut out of them. Believe it or not, the Bond movies had a lot of trouble with the BBFC, the censors. I was reading an article the other week, which I'll be quoting from at some point, showing some of the scenes and bits that were cut, and you're talking like 2 seconds of a fight and stuff like that, but they were always in trouble with the censors. Not so much the later ones, but the earlier ones, most definitely. Movies that were TV shows first. Charlie's Angles, you put. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. Charlie's Angels, which the movie version of that I absolutely loved. Starsky and Hutch, loved the movie version of that. And I loved the TV series. Miami Vice, never saw it, never watched it, and I've never seen the movie version, is what I'm trying to say. The A-Team, I've only just got into watching the TV series, but I have grabbed the movie version to take a look at some point. Dukes of Hazzard, I love the TV series, absolutely adored it, and I thought the first Dukes of Hazzard movie with Johnny Knoxville was brilliant, really enjoyed it. I believe Burt Reynolds was in that as well. I've never seen any of the TV shows, but the movies were all rubbish. Oh, right. The only one I can think of that was good is The Equalizer. Good old Denzel never lets you down. Thing is, with The Equalizer, I've never seen the series, but I get the rough idea of what it was, and I get the feeling that the movies are a completely different animal. I'm only guessing that they are extremely violent because I've read certain things about them. But whether they actually bear any resemblance to the original Edward Woodward series is another matter. Biker Mice from Mars was a fantastic cartoon. I used to have the t-shirt when I was a kid. I've never seen it and I've never heard of it. It took Callie to explain what it was. But I wouldn't mind taking a look at it. I'm curious to know what an episode of Biker Mice from Mars actually looks like. I watched all of The Walking Dead, but it was shit after season 7. Rick went out of it, but I carried on like I did with Lost, just because I wanted to see how they ended it. But it was hard work at times. I've not bothered with any of the million spin-off series they've done. I've not either. I can't remember what season we got up to the end of, but we basically said, you know what, I'm sorry, but this is boring, and he agreed with me, so we kind of abandoned it at that point. What season it was, I have no clue. And as for the spin-off series, I certainly can't be arsed with those. Gross Point Blank, you obviously don't remember my top 10 movies very well, Tony, as it's in my top 10. I didn't remember that, to be fair, but I'm definitely looking forward to taking a look at it, due to a review I heard on a podcast. And if it's in your top 10, it's going to be a good one. So yes, I will be taking a look at that. Great video as always, Captain. Same time next week. Maybe, we'll see. Jason K. Our Ginger Ninja, morning Jay. Going to be catching up with your Franchise Fridays and Trashy Tuesdays this week, by the way. I need to catch up with those. G'day Tony, morning mate. Zombievers is awesome, so much silly fun. I was hoping you were going to say that. I really want to watch Zombievers so much. Slaughterhouse was not as good as expected, though I should have known better. And Evil Bong, there's heaps of them now. Really? More than one? And they are exactly what you'd expect. I can't expect anything of those because I have no idea what they're about. The Day the Earth Caught Fire is one movie I want to see. You do want to see it. It's really, really good. I actually wanted to host a stream of it on my channel, but it's not in the public domain, so just have to watch it on my own. Oh, poor lad. You'll enjoy it, mate, honestly. The Day the Earth Caught Fire is classic British sci-fi, just superb. The Shining. I was never a huge fan of the movie. What? But it is going to be showing at the local cinema later this year, so I may go. I think you should. Just as a means of apologising for that last remark. The Shining is brilliant. I loved it from the first time I saw it. Speaking of crap films, Attack of the Moon Zombies. What? Attack of the Moon Zombies, with a title like that, I've got to take a look at it. Stay tuned for a trashy Tuesday with that one. Yeah, I'll probably have a watch of that before I actually watch the movie. Have a good one. Cheers, mate. Much appreciated. Guy. Morning all. Hold on, you can't have a list of favourite BFI films if you've not seen them all. Not having that bollocks. You tell me. Jason Kerr, thanks for the Higgislaw. We will return. I hope so. I really do. I'm missing you guys already. My Saturday mornings at work are not the same without you piping all this fucking bollocks in my ears for 2 hours. So it's not the same. I hope you do come back at some point. I know you're coming back with certain episodes, but I'm hoping at some point down the road you're going to think, you know what, we really miss doing this and we're going to do it again. So don't worry about wrapping it up quick. It's all cool. Been a good video. Yes, I had to wrap it up quite quick last week or 2 weeks ago. It was not going well. For me, it wasn't going well anyway. You guys wouldn't have noticed, but that's just how I am. So thanks for that, Guy. Much appreciated, mate. Jason P. Morning, Jay. Loving the new thread, by the way. 1988 was a cracking year. I was really surprised at how many I'd actually seen. I was quite pleased with that one. Mark, you said, I think you're pretty good pre 1990. After 1990 is when it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shall we try that again? Mark commented, I think you're pretty good pre 1990. After 1990 is when it seems you said, you know what, fuck it. None of those blockbusters for me, just the most obscure, weird shit for me now going forward, lads. You do know me far too well. You're probably right. I would usually take a good independent drama over a blockbuster anytime, and I've pretty much always been like that. Right from the days of seeing Midnight Cowboy for the first time, movies like that. I do like the odd blockbuster. My never seen for this week, which I'll be posting over the weekend, is one that you've been wanting me to take a look at for years. But I never got round to it, so I'll be posting that one soon. But yeah, I'm sorry, but give me a really crap sci-fi film like Attack of the Moon Zombies or Hell Comes to Frogtown. That one came up over the last couple of days, and I really wouldn't mind a look at that. It looks fucking amazing. Let's see, great vid as per. Not much to say this week, I'm afraid. Airport movies. I tried watching them for never seen. I just couldn't get into them. Same as the China Syndrome. I turned that off too. I just about made it past the hour mark, but that was it. It is a cracking drama, but it's not basically for everyone's to everyone's taste. Jane Fonda, Michael Douglas, and Jack Lemmon, a dream cast, just brilliant. Barker's Video, yeah, Clockwork Orange would have still been banned when they were open. It was, which is why I was so surprised to hear the soundtrack playing over the speakers when I walked in, and I realised that at the time I thought that this lady's cool, and she was. Free Jack, I saw this at the cinema and not seen it since. The only line I remember in it was from Jagger when he said, back up. It was hilarious and had us in stitches because of how bad it was. Still remember it now after more than 30 years. We used to go every Friday night to see what was showing on Screen 1, but they must have had a big film still showing on Screen 1, so we had to settle for this on the small screen. I used to do that a lot. If I'd seen the main feature, sort of Screen 1, I would just watch pretty much anything on Screen 2 or 3, pretty much anything at all. I've actually purchased 2 movies this week, but can't tell you what they are, as they are coming up in my never seen in the next 2 months. Both have the same actor, and I thought they were both brilliant films. Curious about that one. I got one of them on DVD, no problem, but the other was bastard expensive. It was bastard expensive to buy. The Blu-ray ranged from 15 to 30 quid, and the DVD ranged from 10 to 25 quid, for fuck's sake. Very curious to know what that one was. I managed to get the DVD for £6 from CEX plus £3 postage, so I snapped it up. This is a film that you rave about a lot, Tony. I can't wait to know what this one is. It's coming up hopefully soon then. You'll find out what it is in a few weeks on Never Seen. Can't wait. Toodle pip. Toodle pip, Jay. Busy day today, you say, getting a new phone, then it's the FA Cup semi-final. Snooker and boxing tonight. P.S. Glad you like the new thread. It's a lot to take in and keep up with at the minute for you all, but you try getting it ready in the first place. I wouldn't have had the patience for it, mate. I really wouldn't. I think you're amazing. How you've ever got the patience for downloading all those posters and putting them in files and blah, blah, blah. No, not for me. I'm really glad we've got you. You know, yeah, loving it, mate. Absolutely loving it. It's just nice to see every day which movies are coming out and what year we've got. It's just brilliant. You're Never Seen It was a double bill, the last one. Alfie from 1966. Michael Caine. Synopsis. Unrepentant ladies man Alfie Elkins gradually begins to understand the consequences of his lifestyle in 1960s London. Verdict. I enjoyed this more than I thought I would. I'd probably watch it again too. Definitely surprised me. Surprised me as well. When I saw it was Alfie, I thought, oh God, this is not boding well at all. But you surprised me. And the next one was Alfie Darling from 1975. Now this, I don't know whether this was a sequel or a reimagining or what. Synopsis. Alfie Elkins, Alan Price, returns up to his old womanising ways until he meets his match in sophisticated magazine editor Abby Summers, Jill Townsend. His pursuit is complicated by his encounter with Norma, Sheila White, and the fact that a jealous husband won't let him forget about his time with his wife, Faye. Joan Collins. Joan Collins is in it. I've got this on Blu-ray somewhere upstairs. I must take a look at it. Verdict. I didn't even know there was a sequel. Completely different from the first one. I think they tried to make this into a confessions. I think they tried to make this into a confessions movie, as Window Cleaner was out the year before. It was very British, and I like this one too. Even more surprised by that one. Looking forward to seeing what this week's are. So, and I believe that's everything. Now, if I've forgotten anything, with it being 2 weeks since I did the last one, please forgive me. I will catch up at some point. I have been buying again, but bear in mind this is from the last 3 weeks. So I'm going to rattle through these very quickly, and then I'm going to wrap this up. So, first one, I will make clear why I've bought this very, very shortly. It's a movie called Ragtime. I've read the first chapter, hooked on it already, and there's a reason that I've got this, which will become very apparent soon enough. Also, another book. We are, I won't say obsessed because that's slightly sad. We love watching a TV programme on Prime at the moment. We've seen it before a lot of years back, called SOS Filthy House. Two extreme cleaners basically go round to people's hovels and turn them around and turn them into habitable, beautiful houses, and we love it. And how to clean your house and tidy up your life. This is basically full of the kind of tips that they are sharing pretty much every week in this program. Stuff like using what do they call those little things that you put in with dentures, those little tablets, Sterident. Put that in water, and if you put certain things in that water, it will basically strip all the dirt off it. Little things like that. I love that program. We both do, with us both being cleaners. So I really wanted a sort of a hard copy of a book with all of these tips in. I did actually, when the first series was out, I emailed Brennan Budden, who was one of the presenters, on his Facebook thing, and basically said, are you going to bring out a book with all these cleaning tips? And he said he was, but it's never happened. So I've gone for this one by the Queen of Clean, Lindsay Crombie, whoever she is. Aggie Mackenzie says, a cracker of a book packed with tips, you'll feel instantly organised, hopefully. So let's see how we go with that one. So that's books. Handful of magazines. Latest issue of Scream, which you've got... let's see, articles on Jason Voorhees' Sleepaway Camp. That was a good movie. Rasputin, Hammer Goes Russian. Final Destination, Bloodlines, which is the latest instalment coming out soon. Southern Comfort, cracking movie. Dead and Buried, another cracking movie from the Band era. So that's one I'm looking forward to getting into. The latest issue of Sight and Sound, which is the BFI's official magazine, which panders to my love of independent cinema. Articles on Gene Hackman, and nobody else that I recognise at all. Latest issue of SFX, articles on The Walking Dead, Thunderbolts, which I'm hearing good things about. Doctor Who, Eurovision in Space. Seriously? What else we got here? Final Destination, Bloodlines again. Until Dawn, which I saw the trailer to the other week and looks good. Bambi the Reckoning. Seriously? Screamboat. Clown in a Cornfield. This is the one Sam was on about. And Wolfman. And also articles on Stranger Things, Spider-Man, Asterix and Obelix. I remember the original Asterix cartoon. I would love to get a copy of that. But there you go. That's the latest issue of that. Latest issue of Doctor Who magazine. Cybermen on Riverside. Daleks in Manhattan. Now that was a good story. Latest issue of Cinema Retro, which came through this week. I love this magazine. Let's see, you've got articles on there. The Jackal, Edward Fox, Darren Nesbitt, House of the Long Shadows. Peter Cook explores the matte paintings and visual effects work of Hammer Films. Cracking magazine. Latest issue of Empire with Jurassic World Rebirth on the front. Latest issue of Talking Pictures official magazine, Intermission, which I absolutely adore. I love reading this. And also the latest issue of Yours Retro. You got articles on how the B-movie set out to save the British film industry. Marilyn Monroe, Margot Kidder, Top Cat, Gracie Fields, Dirk Bogarde, Keystone Cops, Maurice Chevalier. Always enjoy that. Alright, and a handful of Blu-rays and DVDs. Now, I said I wasn't going to go mad, and I haven't, not really. That's a fucking lie, I have. First one, Taking Woodstock. I watched, or started to watch, a documentary on BBC 4 about Woodstock, the history of it, and all that sort of thing. Then suddenly realised it was way too short. So obviously the previous programme had run over, and they'd cut sort of half an hour of the film out. So I decided I wanted to have a look at this one, which appeared on the same page as that very documentary. Which it says it's actually 2 hours long. So I'm glad in a way that I bought it on DVD, because this is obviously the sort of uncut version, about the history of Woodstock, the festival, all how it came about, its legacy, all that kind of thing. I love Woodstock. Let's see. This one, I saw a clip on Facebook and thought, I've never even heard of that. And I actually wouldn't mind a look at it. Wonder. I don't know anything about it. Is it like Mask with Cher? Is it like a junior version of the Elephant Man? I don't know. But I'm basically curious to see what that one's like. And Ragtime. This is one that Steve Mack, our Criterion guy, recommended to me. I definitely want to take a look at this one. I believe Jimmy Cagney's in this. This is actually, I believe, a Spanish import. That's why I can't understand all the words on the back. But I definitely want to take a look at that. And I'd heard the book of it was brilliant, which is why I showed it off earlier. Next one. This was recommended by somebody at work, and I've heard of it but never seen it. Hair. This is a BFI release. It's a musical set during the hippie era. I know very little about it, apart from it has The Age of Aquarius as one of the songs. Definitely want to take a look at that. And Mask. This was one of your never seens, Mark, the other week, which I think you were quite impressed with. Now, I haven't seen this since it first came out, so it would have been about 1983, and I believe I saw this in London, in Leicester Square, if I remember right. It was basically America's answer to The Elephant Man. That was basically what it was, but it was a cracking movie. Cher was superb in that. Next one. I have to thank Steve Mack for this one. Thank you so much, mate, for sending me this. Very, very much appreciated. Steve listened to me waxing lyrical about Reds, a couple of weeks ago, basically saying that I wasn't sure whether the Blu-ray would actually play on a UK player, with it being not so much region 1, but it's not region 2, if that makes any sense. And he basically said, you're not going to believe this, but I actually have a spare copy of Reds if you would like it. And I snapped his hand off. Thank you so much, Steve, for taking the trouble to send this to me. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I've got to find 3.25 hours in a row to watch it, but I did put it on to see whether it played. It played perfectly, and I watched the first 10 minutes, and I thought, I can't stop watching this now. It was like 8 o'clock, time for bed. So I thought, I'm going to be here till sort of 11:30 if I keep on with this. But I was absolutely hooked on it, so I can't wait to take a look at it. So my sincerest thanks for taking the trouble to send that to me, mate, and for thinking of me when you realised you've got a spare copy. Very, very much appreciated, and I will be telling you what I think when I've watched it. But I know I'm going to enjoy it because I've seen it before and thoroughly enjoyed it. But it's a long time ago. So thanks for that, Steve. Much appreciated, mate. Next one, Kevin Costner movie I've never seen. This was recommended by, I believe, one of my new subscribers, Tin Cup. Not a sports movie fan, certainly not a golf movie fan, but they reckon this is quite good. So I thought, we'll have a go at that. Only cost about £2. This one I got from Talking Pictures. Well, Renowned Pictures, which is their sales branch. And it's basically Vintage Sci-Fi Collection Volume 1. And you got on this, Once in a New Moon, The Night Caller, which is a cracking movie, Phantom from Space, Dr. Cyclops, Target Earth, Stranger from Venus, The Alien Factor, Captive, PSI Factor, and The Dream Doctor. Can't wait to get into that. I love these old hammy sort of movies. This one, I used to watch this series, must be 20 plus years ago, and I only got about 3 episodes into it. And abandoned it, and I suddenly saw a clip of it the other day and thought I wouldn't mind rewatching that and seeing it all the way through. I think this cost about £8. Surface, the complete series. It's basically about an invasion of Earth by sort of marine life. The 2 episodes, or 2 or 3 episodes that I saw, there goes my screen again, were absolutely brilliant. I don't know why I didn't follow it up, but I've got the chance to do that now. And Rob bought me these from HMV. He spotted one and then spotted 3 others very similar, and he grabbed them for me. The Land Unknown, which I think Sam talked about the other week. The Mole People. I love these 50s sci-fi movies. The Alligator People, which I saw a long time back. Scary as hell, but I was only about sort of 10 or 11 at the time. And The Colossus of New York. My mother used to love this one. I don't know why, but she absolutely loved it, and she got me into that one. So, and that is it. Thank you so much for joining me and for bearing with me over the last couple of weeks. As I say, I'd appreciate your thoughts on taking this fortnightly. If you're not overly happy with it, just let me know and I'll keep doing it weekly. But it's certainly made it a lot easier over the last couple of weeks, that's for sure, to put this thing together. Plus it gives you a decent break from it without actually abandoning it altogether. So, as I say, thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to reading all your comments a little bit later on, and I'll be back either next week or the week after. Have a brilliant week, folks, and I will talk to you all again soon. And it is brilliant to be back. Take care. Ta-da.